A very good evening, good afternoon, good morning, wherever you are. My name is Victoria Nkatha, and here we are to yet another Sunday with Ali Talks with Victoria Nkatha. Now, today I'm joined by a phenomenal woman who is here to talk to us about a lot, and her story is amazing. And before I even take all the honor of introducing her, I would love her to come on board, tell us who she is, what she does, and then we can get this conversation in session. But before then, I would love to wish everybody a lovely, lovely evening wherever you are. Wherever you're watching us from, please comment. We are on YouTube, we are on Facebook, we are on three platforms, and we would love you to share, and tell a friend to tell a friend. And here we are with Miss Beatrice. Hello, ma'am. How are you? That is if she is there, but I think she's having some internet connection issues. So now, today we have a great session that is set up for you. We have a great discussion where we'll be discussing a lot of things. And this is a very, very amazing woman who is coming to tell us a lot about her initiative, her journey as a speaker, and also her journey in regard to moving back home to the motherland. And it's an amazing story. It's a phenomenal story, which she'll be able to tell us a little bit about. Good evening, Ma. How are you?
Good afternoon, Victoria. Good evening, Victoria. I want to extend my day. How are you doing?
I'm fine, thank you. How are you, Ma?
I'm good. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for joining us. Now, please tell us who is Madam Beatrice and what is Madam Beatrice all about?
Well, she is a very proud African woman. She's
Mm-hmm,
a learning mother because she's constantly
mm-hmm,
learning how to parent. She
mm-hmm,
is a passionate serial author,
mm-hmm.
an enthusiastic transformational speaker. She is a woman who loves challenges. She is passionate about transforming youth's lives, kids' lives. She loves Africa, and she's just proud to be an African woman.
And I'm being reminded that you forgot to tell us, gents, happy Father's Day. Listen, we did not forget. Actually, we
Oh,
did not forget. This was supposed to be done in the course of the show, but somebody over here tells us that we have forgotten to salute the gentleman. But since he has reminded us, happy Father's Day to all the amazing men who are out there, all the potential fathers, all the fathers who have stepped up, the fathers in heaven, and much, much more. Happy Father's Day to y'all lovely men. And let's keep on supporting our men in terms of being fathers. And yes, we did not forget. This was supposed to happen, but you were too quick. You were quicker than us. But anywho, do you have anything to say more to that?
I just want to say it's the month of June. June is the month of the African child,
Mm-hmm.
precisely the day June 16, but we celebrate the whole of month in honor of the African child. And the history goes back to 1976 when the youth uprising in Soweto, in South Africa, where Sharpeville and South Africa, that led to the downfall of the apartheid regime in South Africa. So June is celebrated across the world in African and Black communities as the month of the African child. So we're here also in that space. And I want to greet all the men, salute all the men, all the boys, all the girls, brown, black. I we send greetings to you.
Thank you very much, Ma. And we're receiving a lot of greetings and hello to everybody who's tuned in. And thank you for tuning in. Now, Ma Beatrice, sorry, can you kindly tell us a little bit about where you're from, what you do in a more comprehensive manner? I know you've introduced a little bit about you, and specifically, I'd want to dig deeper into the awards that happened today, actually. So please introduce us to that and tell us what that is all about.
Well, I'm an African woman born in Cameroon. I am 51, proudly 51. And
Wow.
I lived in Austria for 20 years. And in 2014, I put it by the name Shit Happened. And it was my wake up call to come back home. And so I packed my two suitcases and left everything that was dear to me behind, including my kids. And I moved back here with nothing except the determination to stay no matter what and to be successful in Africa, to create, pursue, and grow my African dream. And here I am today. And yes, today we had one of my dreams come true, and it's so exciting that I can't wait to talk about the Globuntu Trailblazer Award.
Now, you mentioned something about moving back with nothing. So I'd like to understand because I know a lot of people, once they decide to move back home to the motherland, they have saved for years and they wait until they are in their retirement age and once they've worked so hard and put in. But here you are telling us that you moved with nothing. How was that transition from Europe to the motherland without anything? And tell us, what exactly do you mean by nothing? Nothing is very relative. Nothing can be a couple of millions in one person's account, while it can literally mean nothing in somebody else's account. So please tell us.
Well, nothing means literally nothing. I had 1,800 euros in my pocket. Well, it was
Wow.
1,300 until at the airport. I had to pay for my book. So 500 was taken out and I was left with 1,800.
You paid for your
And
book.
yes, I travel with books. I love books, and I just published one of my books called "Follow Me to Africa" in an unspoken conversation with
Wow.
Nelson Mandela,
Mm-hmm.
which titles
Mm-hmm.
I changed the title later on. Um,
Mm-hmm.
but it was a book that I had just published, and I needed to take it with me. And so I had one suitcase full of books, and I was asked to pay. And with tears in my eyes, I said I had a choice to either leave the books behind at the airport, dump them, or pay 500. And I decided I will get rid of 500, but not a book is going to be dumped at this airport. So again, it was a time when my business ran down. I ran completely out of cash. I was unable to pay my rent. I was almost about to be kicked out on the street with my kids. And this is a country that I've been in for 20 years. I have served, been in different positions, created many organizations, including the Black Women's Community, the International Center for Black Women's Perspectives, the Black European Women's Council. We have launched it in Europe. I have run for parliamentary elections, and I had created amazing organization, won 14 international awards, and was in almost every
Wow.
newspaper and every TV in Austria, done all kinds of trainings. So when you get to that space where you have done everything, done it, know it, and then that kind of a thing happens to you where business runs down and you don't have the cash, and you are found where people are telling you to go to the Caritas, to caritative organizations to find a space to live with your children. You realize that something is not very right. Either you're
Hmm.
doing someone else's dream, either you're trying to be who you think people want you to be, or you are very, very far away from your calling. You're very far away
Hmm.
from your dream. So in that position, when you get into that point, you have two options. The first option is to resign. Picture it that way. You are a baby, you have your baby cot, you're lying in it, and now you're an adult, and then you're still trying to fit into that baby cot when you've long outgrown it. So the options are you either struggle to fit yourself in, become kind of broken and become bitter and become all kinds of twisted things because you want to
Hmm.
fit into a
Hmm.
space that is too small for you,
Hmm.
or you
Hmm.
try to resign, to kind of give up on you. Resign
Hmm.
means that you just become passive, and
Hmm.
passivity is it's the best ingredients for
Dangerous.
an unhappy life. I was
Hmm.
46. My life was just beginning. It was just beginning, and I couldn't afford
Hmm.
to be in a
Hmm.
space where I would grow to become bitter when I knew that there was so much more in me. I found out that I'm a creator, not a fixer. And for the 20 years that I've been out there, I was trying to fix a system that was put in place long before I was born, a system that I can't even fix. It can only lead to frustration. And so it got to the point where I had to realize you've tried fixing, it's not working. You are a creator. Move out of this limiting space and get into a space where you can create. So I had to
Hmm.
move. And to answer your question about money, if I had millions on my account, I would have probably gone home to Cameroon. But if you don't have the money and you're going home, you know that you're going to be judged. You're going to become a liability on your family. You'll be a shame to your family. And you know where you're coming from. You may not have money, but you have knowledge. You have a vision. You have You have energy, but that cannot be measured in the money, in the coins. So people
Yeah.
don't necessarily see that. And I decided to go to a country where I will be anonymous. No one knows me. I can go bare feet. I don't have money, so I don't need to show up. I can just be an anonymous person. And that will give me the space to grow, to plant my seed, to clean my shit, and to build a dream from zero without being judged, without being watched by anyone. So that's one of the secrets. If you want to move and you don't have anything, don't move to your country. Move to a different African countries. 54 countries, you have a choice. Move to a place where no one knows you and start from zero and do all the cleaning that you need to do. Be vulnerable. No one will judge you. If I moved to Cameroon, I would have been miserable. I think I would have gone back to Europe to first to go into asking for social welfare, and I didn't want to do that. I don't want that to be an example that I set out for my kids.
Mm, mm. I really love the fact that you said that you really have to, you realize that some things just get to where it cannot be fixed anymore. And one of the things that I said some time back is that sometimes you really have to hit rock bottom a little bit harder for you to change the way you think and change your mindset, because a lot of people usually tend to think that it's all flowery and so on and so forth, but then it really hits hard, it really hits hard. And I think to you it really hits harder, so that to the point where you realize, you know what, I now have to say that I have to start all over. And how now, speaking of being 46 and life just starting, and being 51 right now, these are 4 years since 4 5 years since you decided to pack your bags and leave. How has it been in terms of that journey where you're starting all over at 46? And I don't mean to say anything, but somebody would be looking at their life at 35 and thinking, I don't have the time to start over. But here you are proving us very, very wrong. 46 and deciding to start all over. And 5 years later, you're glowing, you are, how was that? And what about the whole idea and thought behind you getting to start over? What are the thoughts that were running through your mind, and are there any regrets?
No, no regrets at all. No regrets. If yes, then I would say I should have moved earlier. Sometimes I tell people if shit has never happened to your life, then you don't know how powerful you are. You don't know the strength
Mhm,
in you. You don't know the vision in you. When you're
mhm,
hit to the wall, like you say, or when you hit rock bottom, it's like a ball.
mhm,
You're like a ball, right? When you
mhm,
bounce it, the harder
mhm,
you bounce it on the floor, the higher it bounces up
mhm,
backward, right?
mhm,
If you bounce
mhm,
it slowly when you're still in your comfort zone,
mhm,
you don't see the strength of it. And that's how our lives is. Our lives are. Well, for me, that's what it is. And 46 is just, my kids are like growing up. I'm a late mom. At
mhm,
46, kids are growing up. You have done your part of relationships. You have tested a whole
mhm,
lot of things,
mhm,
experimented, and you are
mhm,
in a space where you can consciously make decisions.
mhm,
You have
mhm,
been in a space where your family or whoever guides you, they tell you what it is that they think you
mhm,
should be doing. And you have
mhm,
tried all of that. You've gone to the stage
mhm,
where probably you're losing your parents. Maybe some of them are gone, and you're realizing, I am now on my own. I am now a woman who should be making her own decisions, independent decisions. And I'm now in the point where I should become a role model for my children and not be a puppet for anyone. And so when you get to that point, you realize that this is when I should actually clean my suitcase of life. I say today that we all carry a suitcase from the moment we're born. There's a lot of junk in there. Some of it is what we acquire at school. Some of the things that we were told when we were growing up. Some of it is from the environment that we grow, some from the media and everywhere. And you have been an African immigrant in Europe. You know how much junk is dumped on you. And sometimes we tend to start to believe in that junk. And then we start behaving towards becoming what the environment we are in wants us to be. And we completely forget our gift. We completely forget what we want to do. As a child, I always wanted to be an author. But because I was formed and I had to follow the path that was laid out for me. Go study law, go study sociology, go do this, you do all of that. But again, at 40, you are in a position to say, hey, it is my life. It is my
mhm,
life. And is this really what I want to do? Or am I trying to satisfy someone else? Am I trying to be peaceful with someone? Am I trying to make someone happy? Am I trying to realize someone else's
I think
now
a
you
lot.
make a conscious
Yeah,
decision, and what is going to be that decision? I could have gone to social welfare. I could have gone to another European country. I could have, but I just realized that the things that were happening to me had also to do with the fact that my education, my upbringing was a mixture of the colonial reminiscences and all the images and this vision of thinking Europe is paradise. And when you come there, you have to shrink. I don't know why we even believe in the vision, in the knowledge that the Europeans are those who colonized Africa, and they did all the things that they did. And we have all the Black Lives Matters. We know what is happening to Black people, and we still paradoxically believe that we can be better in Europe, in their spaces, instead of in our spaces. So I realized that I've done 20 years, and it is not what I thought it was. I am thankful for all the experiences. They formed me, but I'm ready now to step into the power of me, the power of the woman that I was born to be. So 46 is the perfect year. Europe is not the place. America is not the place. I got to go back to the soil. I got to go back to the soil and find myself and ask my ancestors to tell me what is it that they want me to do to create a legacy on the continent. And so that's what I'm doing today.
and I
And
love
to
that.
say
I
that
love
6 years down the
that.
line, I am an author I've written 19 books. 17 of them have been approved for schools in South Africa. I have
Wow.
coached 15 kids to write and have their own books published. Some of them are award winners. I've coached women to write their books. Had I been in Europe, none of this would have happened.
And you see now I am starting to think about you being my mentor. Not even think about it. We need to have a discussion. We need to have a discussion. But this is really profound. It is really, really profound. And I think one of the biggest fears of some of us when we hear about moving is the fact that we feel that it might be lowering ourselves. And I think this whole discussion about, you are not going to be in a better state of you and who you are than when you are in your roots is one of the things that is very, very important to also remember. I know there are a lot of people who thrive in these nations, but some people cannot thrive until they go back to their roots and really ground themselves, and then they start growing and they germinate into beings that are extraordinary. With all that knowledge, they then take it and plant the seed in the roots and in the soil, and they germinate from there. And I think that's one of the things that happened to you, and seeing the fruits is very, very amazing. Now, tell me a little bit about your foundation and your organization. That is something that I'm very excited to hear about. You keep on jumping, running away from it, but here we are, we're back. That is something that I very much want to hear about, because I personally am into speaking and motivating. And you do this with kids. And please tell us also a little bit about the awards that happened today.
Well, again, I know that when stuff happened to me, the one thing that allowed me to detox myself and to be able to find clarity and the courage to move was writing. Writing is very therapeutic. Writing helps you to go deep inside of you, to tap into the powers of who you are, the voice in you that you call intuition. It helps you to go deep. And when you dig deep, you're able to heal the wounds that are in there. You also see where the wounds are so that you can heal them. And when I wrote, when stuff was happening, I found that clarity and the courage to pack my two suitcases and to tell my kids that's the most valuable thing that I have in this world. My two kids, they were barely 12 and 14, and I had to tell them, listen, I have to go find myself. In order to be a good mom, I need to go find myself, and I can afford to give you the responsibility later to say, had it not been for you, had it not been because I wanted to be a good mom, I would have done this, because that would not be the best example. That's some of the mistakes that we parents make. At some point, we
Yeah.
start throwing it back on the kids, and then a vicious circle and a pathology of negativity begins, and a pathology of guilt. So I had to make that decision for me and get my kids' dad to take care of the kids, take over the kids. And wanted to take them with me, but the circumstances did not allow it. I had a company that wanted to employ me when I wanted to move here, but in the last minute, the company changed their decision, and I said to myself, like, I'm not going to give them the permission to become so important in my life that again tomorrow I say, had they not changed their mind, I would have been in South Africa. I had made the decision before I met them, so I moved. That meant for me that I had to leave my kids behind, and I was willing to take that leap to say I leave the kids behind and I go find myself and see what is happening. And today, when I speak with my kids, it's the best decision that we would have made. They are in the environment that they're used to. They're growing into normal human beings. I'm not there to control them, and I'm not messing up with their lives like mothers always do, like who. So they're growing up to independent human beings. If something happened to me today and I'm no longer in this world, my kids have learned how to survive without me. They will be they are best equipped to do that. I left when my son was diabetic. He was just diagnosed diabetic. Today, he's managing his diabetes. He goes to school. His life is just amazing. If I was around him, he wouldn't have done that. My daughter, Victoria, is doing amazing. Had I been around her, she wouldn't have been able to do that. So sometimes we create dependencies in our kids in the name of parenting. We forget to know that we're parenting kids not for ourselves. We're parenting them to be great people in the world. So I left them, and I see how they're growing right there. I consult with them every day. I don't call them, they call me when they need me. And when they need me, I drop everything. That's our understanding. I love them. I'm passionate about them. I'm committed to them, but I'm not attached to any one of them. So that is for me the highest of love. And with that experience, and the experience of writing as a therapy, as a way of finding myself, as a way of growing, I came across children in my circle, in my friend circle. Well, I started with my friend's daughter. I started the classes with my kid's daughter, who had just lost her brother. She was grieving. She took on weight. She was bullied at school. So she was really, really down. And this was like a 12 years old girl. So she came to me one weekend because I do a lot of affirmations. I had to affirm myself. When stuff happened to your life and you're used to being up there, you find yourself down. You do a TED talk and it's like you out yourself. Everyone knows in town, thinking that you're up there, knows that you're now down there. People turn away from you. The shame, the blame, the disgrace, the anxiety, the fear, all those feelings come. Your self-worth disappears. Your self, the confidence disappeared. So I had to do a lot of inner work, a lot of affirmations in order to grow. So I have a couple of books that I've published on affirmations. So when this daughter came to me, I did some affirmations with her just over and in an afternoon, and the transformation was incredible. So she went home and her mom called me and said, "What did you do with my daughter?" And so that was the beginning of a master class. So my landlord's two daughters came in, and my friend's daughter. I coached them through the process with affirmations, and within 1 month, they wrote their books and published. And some of them were going through stuff. So that gave me the courage. And this mother started speaking around them. It was not something that I planned to do, but the mother spoke about in their offices. And before I noticed, parents were sending their kids to the master class. And so that was the birth of the Globuntu holiday master classes for kids. It was the birth of the Globuntu master classes for young writers. And again, today we started in April 2019. We have graduated 15 young authors. 15. Wow. And when I noticed, I've received a couple of awards. I've been very honored and very privileged to receive a number of awards, including the AWI award that was last month.
Yes.
And when Joy bestowed that award on me, and in October 2018, I was in Michigan, and I got the Trailblazer Award. I made a pledge that I was going to take this award to Africa and amplify it. I want young people to feel like trailblazers. I want them to feel how great, how powerful, how amazing they are. And so when Joyce's own came, and I said, okay, the commitment, I have to do something right now. And I went to work. So it took me 1 month to pull up the Globuntu Trailblazer Award for Black and Brown kids who are beating the pandemic and excelling in 9 categories. And within 10 days, I had 48 nominations, parents nominated, grandparents nominated, teachers nominated. And today we had that award, and it was on live stream. It's on Facebook, it's on YouTube. And if you saw these kids, you saw their faces. It just gives you joy. It energizes you for 100 years. You can do the work for 100 years. When you see them go home and then they start posting their certificates, you see pictures they framed and they put on in their houses, you just know that you're in the right place. Money may not
Yes.
be coming in this award. There was no sponsorship. Did it out of
Yeah.
the love, out of, you just realize that sometimes the reward is not money. You can't put it in monetary
Mm-hmm.
form. That, touching the life of a child and affirming them to believe that they can be much better people, it's something that you can't quantify in money. And for me, right now, what I want is to build a legacy. A legacy is not about me, it's not about my ego. It's about touching lives with the experiences that I have so that they can go touch other lives, so that we create a legacy that is in the spirit of our African philosophy of Ubuntu. We are a whole village that needs to support our children, to raise them. And I'm just here to make my little contribution with all the experiences that I've had. And when I see kids smile, when I see kids, raised to their greatness, that's for me is the essence of being alive.
Well, Ma, I love this discussion. And before we even continue, I would love us to take a short break and introduce our sponsors and also share a little bit of information about our academy. So once we get back, we'll go into the comment section and then we'll also discuss a little bit further on the possibilities of other people joining and whether this and much much more. I won't give too much away. So we'll be back, everybody, just right after the show break. And as I hope you are enjoying the show, and you feel free to share in the comment section what you're learning, what you're thinking, and how you think we can do better. And also plug us in to wherever you're watching from. Tell a friend to tell a friend, and then we'll be back after the break.
Niajiwase. TapTap Send Money Transfer has launched its app in Kenya. Send money to M-Pesa and Kenyan bank accounts. Send money quickly at the best rate. Hassle-free. Available in the UK, France, Italy, Spain, Netherlands, Belgium and Germany. Tumakitu.
To Makitu, as you have heard. Now, I want to introduce you to also our academy, which I've also been showing a little bit in the session. Now, our academy is all about learning and for individuals to get to learn much, much more about building businesses and growing in terms of business. So, what our academy is also preparing for us right now is the upcoming classes, which as you can see on the screen, there's upcoming an upcoming mushroom business course. A lot of people are really good in terms of agriculture. However, the thing is that they lack the know-how in terms of how to do different businesses. What our academy is giving is mentorship in regard to the different businesses from different people who are very knowledgeable in their field and in the different courses that are being offered. Now, this course is being offered by Anne Mudui, who has a degree in nutrition. She's a CEO. She's the CEO of Nutri Mush, strong advocate for organic farming, and has true passion to ensure consumers get chemical-free products. She's empowering women and the youth, which gives her enormous satisfaction. Now, the topics will include cultivating the most profitable mushrooms and their benefits. And this is going to be from the 6th of July 2021 from 7 p.m. to 8 p.m. Central Eastern European time. Hopefully this is correct. And we will also be learning about the secrets to successful mushroom farming. And we will also be having the dates, which are 13th of July and much and this is that on that topic. The last topic is post harvest and mushroom recipes, which will be on the 20th of July 2021, and this will also be from Central from 7 p.m. to 8 p.m. All courses will start from 7 p.m. to 8 p.m. Now, with that said, I would love to introduce or bring back our guest, Madam Beatrice Nkatha, and I hope I said that correctly. Madam Beatrice, how are you? And we will quickly go into the comment section. Can you hear me?
I can hear you very well, and I'm good.
Great. Now, Miss Nikiwe says, greetings from Princess Nikiwe Bam in South Africa. Madam Beatrice
that's the mom of one of our Global Trailblazers. I'm so happy that she's here. And she was one of the moms that rallied around us to cheerlead our Global Trailblazers. Thank you very much for joining in, Sissy. Thank you so much.
That is amazing. We have Matilda who says, hello, dear sisters. Hello, dear Beatrice. It's so nice to see you. Matilda says hello.
Yes, Matilda is my sister friend in Munich. She was one of my strongest supporters when I was in Europe. She followed me to Africa. She's like my cheerleader. She is always there. You know, she always got my back. She's a wonderful sister friend.
That is amazing. Mitsuki Mati goes in and says, in South, life is hard. Africans fight blacks and sing praises to whites. That is there, though. He advised me never to wish working in SA. I understand the guest. Do you have any comments on this?
That is there, though. He advised me never to wish working in SA. You know, it's a great country. It's a great country. When you look at the past historical political history of SA, it's quite complex. So when you come here, the first thing you have to do is you have to understand it. And I always tell people, Europe is more complicated than we think. When you go to a European country, you have to learn the language, you have to learn the culture, you have to assimilate, you have to learn how to eat the food, you have to learn how to deal with snow, winter, and different wardrobes. We should be willing to understand the complexity of our African continent. We shouldn't think that it is less complex. So when we come here, we must come with an open mind, first of all, to learn and not to impose. So again, they are very individual experiences. If you can make it in Europe, you can make it anywhere in Africa, but just don't expect that it will be less complicated or less easier. If you think that way, you're definitely destined to fail. So you have to be willing to want to do it.
Mm-hmm. And I think that's one of the things that is very, very important to note. Anywhere that you can be able to do anything, it's not about where it is, but about your mindset when you go there. So no matter where it is, go with an open mind and a mindset that is ready to do things and make it wherever you are, regardless of the geographical positioning. Madam Joy always says, Beatrice, you are still a power woman in Europe. It was never in vain.
Yes, I'm glad to have been there, Joy. When I see people like you doing the work that you're doing, it tells me that there is hope. It tells me that someone is doing it, and you are very innovative. We started sometimes when we did not have all the tools that you have. Coming up with Awi Academy and all the master classes and all the things that you do is a top on the things that we did, and I am very happy. So I can rest I can rest happily and peacefully in Africa because I know that you are out there, you're rocking it, and you are innovating, renovating, and creating things that come with that fit in the context and the time that we are right now. So I'm very happy to still be seen by Awi, and I'm glad for what you're doing.
Joseph O. Omasi says profound. While Miss G says great. And on YouTube, Beatrice, you are a strong woman. We still salute you here in Europe.
And I have a European passport. When I was leaving Austria, one of the ministers called me and said, "You're not going. You must stay here." And I said, "Mr. Minister, don't worry. If they deport me from South Africa, they will send me to Europe. They will send me back to Austria, not to Cameroon. So you can come pick me up from the airport." My children are born in Europe, and so I can't deny that part of me. I'm not, I'm not negating it. I'm just saying I learn enough to be able to make the decision that I made consciously to become who I am right now and to embark on the journey that I was. Had I not been in Europe, I wouldn't have had that courage. I probably would still be thinking in that paradigm of saying Europe is paradise. So I'm glad about the experiences that I made there. I treasure them, but I just knew sometimes some processes are complete. And when they're complete, you have to move on. If they're complete and you stay in, you stagnate, you become unhappy, you become sad, you become, it could be your relationship, it could be your workplace, it could be the neighborhood that you're living in, it could be just anything. You just have to know when the process is complete and you have to let it go and then move on to something bigger.
That is very true. I think that is one thing to really, really take into consideration. And I hope you guys are learning as much as I'm learning, and I love it. Now, Jojo says, great discussion, Vicky. Thank you, George, for always tuning in. Sema Kaleng says, so nice hearing women talk life. And I love this. I love this. Now, Life is a Puzzle is smiling at us. While African women in Europe, rather, Joy is pushing for our academy, buying the book that Madam Beatrice has written, and they're also pushing for Watch Globuntu Awards today. So that is an amazing thing.
Just let me take you there. The sisterhood that we share in the spirit of Ubuntu, as Joy always posed, is that we don't see ourselves as being competitive. In the past, there have been a lot of competition, especially in Europe, when the space is limited, when it is tight. The society that you're in builds you up to fight against each other. We had that a lot in Austria. So I love the spirit of Awe, which is all about supporting, because together we are bigger and we're stronger. And it goes beyond who we are. It's not about our ego. It's about a bigger vision. And so I appreciate the Joyce's mindset and the way she supports every woman that comes across her way. Joyce, you are just incredible.
And I think that's what has made her become the person that she is. That amazing heart, that amazing spirit is what is making us even sit here today. So Pascal says, good stuff. Thank you very much. Tabiso says, what a treat to have this amazing trailblazer and queen on this platform. This is going to be a powerful conversation. It is already a powerful conversation. I'm there. I can't even, when we're learning from the ones who are ahead of us, we can't even speak. I mean, I thought I'm a powerhouse until I meet such individuals who are greater powerhouses, and I can't help but just sit down and listen and hear.
We are all powerhouses in our own time and spaces, Victoria. In your own generation and your own time and space, you are a powerhouse. I think each one of us is. And we got to acknowledge that. And my sister Tabiso, she's a Globuntu author. And I'm so happy that she's here. I know that she has a lot of work on her plate right now, and for her to take the time to be here, I'm very happy. She was one of the cheerleaders of the Globuntu Trailblazers today as well. Thank you, sis.
That is amazing. Thank you very much. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. Matilda says, you bitches, no matter what you do, I'll always trust you and back you up. Oh, wow. This is amazing. You really are a best practice and an inspiration. Are the books now translated into French and German? I'm waiting to promote them.
Sister, thank you so much. I know you've been on my case. You support every initiative that I do. Some of the books are translated. Well, the series is I know it's called Africa for Smart Kids. It has 19 titles. Victoria, did you know that we have 39 female presidents and prime ministers in Africa? And did you know that our first female prime minister was before Margaret Thatcher? She was Elizabeth Domitian in the Central African Republic as far back as 1975. So those are the kind of things that I write about.
Wow.
And some of these books, this is a one-woman business. And I am looking for sisters who can partner with me, who can invest in the books that I do. I do them all by myself. I write them, I get them edited, and we publish. So the translation is still a little bit slow because, again, it's a one-woman business, and I don't want any kind of investors to come on board. I want this to be a space where we can still create the contents that we think are important to us without having anyone manipulate them or change them. And Victoria, just as I want to say why I created Globuntu Books. When I was in Austria, I wrote my second book. And 1 week before it was due for publication or for the launch, the publishing company rejected because they wanted me to make some changes, and I refused. So because they rejected me 1 week before that, they refused to publish my book, so I decided to become a publisher. And today, Globuntu Book has published 40 books. And publishing young authors and people who probably otherwise would not get into some classical publishers is what it means when you get rejected. It means don't fall down and start thinking, okay, people are mean to me. If someone rejects you, someone is telling you there is power in you. Find that power, ignite it, and bring it to life. So that's why I want this Globuntu Books to not go wild because someone can come take the powers away. I want to have the powers over it. That we're publishing and sharing, they should make us proud.
Okay, thank you very much, Ma. And I think one of the sisters has already mentioned that I'll be a partner, and this is of course Matilda. And I would love actually to hear. Of course, it has to. Of course, it's Matilda. If you're watching out there, please, please, please make sure that you reach out to Madam Beatrice and listen to her, and also be part of the team, so that you can be able to write our stories and tell our stories as they should be told. No translation whatsoever, no manipulation whatsoever, just pure stories and history, and even your autobiography, and much, much more. This needs to be told. And I am already yes, we will have a discussion, Ma. We will have a discussion.
Yes, talking on that, Victoria, this is what I would like to do with AWI at the Academy, to offer master classes. So I run master classes for first-time writers. I know the plight of first-time writers. I know when you have writer's blocks. I know when you have self-doubt. I know when you have a lot of questions. I know when you run out of ideas. So I would like to offer a master class for first-time writers, just to get you through that, navigate you through the stormy roads of writing your book. Besides that, at Globuntu Books, we offer master classes for first-time writers. We offer master classes for young kids who wants to become authors. We run the School of Life Masterclass, which is the space where we bring African women and African men, brothers and sisters, who have journeyed through life and who have gathered knowledge, wisdom, tools, and created systems that help them to navigate life. We do those masterclasses every Saturday evening, from 5 p.m. to 6 p.m. It's called the Globuntu School of Life Masterclass. So those are some of the things that we do. Again, we don't have any bureaucracy here. If partnerships are coming, we can do this in a bigger way. I am very much receptive, and I look forward to those kind of partnerships. So I believe that if we put our energies together, we can create a bigger impact and reach out to more people. So I am open and receptive to all kinds of partnerships, and to us, when it comes to us writing our stories, because again, life is a story, and some stories are life-changing. That's what I always say. If your story is that story that can change someone else's life, then you got to tell that story. It is no longer your story. It's given to you to give to someone else. And this leads us to the transformational aspect of my speaking. The difference between inspiration and motivation is that when you get on stage, you wow people, you motivate them, you warm them up, you fire them up, and then they go back home and they don't have any tools. They don't have any tools to do the things that you told them about, that wowed them. Now, transformation is when you take them by the hand, you give them tools, you don't babysit them. They have to do the work. It has to make ouch. You have to get an ouch, because you're walking the journey and you're getting the tools. And by the time that you finish the journey that you're on, or the step that you're on, you already see the change. You see a change in your life. So transformation is taking you from A to B. And in order for you to go from A to B, you have to move. You have to move. You have to go beyond being motivated. You have to go beyond being inspired. You have to go beyond being enthusiastic. You have to go beyond being interested to taking action. You take action,
Exactly.
and that's when transformation happens. And that's why I would rather do transformation than do inspiration or motivation. I don't want to wow people and frustrate them.
Now, Joy says, or the African women in Europe say, you're welcome to do a masterclass on our academy. Maybe you publish our book, volume 3.
Excellent. I love that. We are already in it, Joy.
Exactly.
I love
Exactly.
women of action.
Now, in the last 12 minutes, I would love you to tell us a little bit about what has been the biggest jump or shift that has probably made you think that, this is so different. I know that you've been in Europe for 20 years. I know that you were not born in Europe, but what has the transition been like? And also moving to a very different country from where you were birthed, what has the biggest challenge and shock been in terms of being a woman, in terms of being who you are from a different country, and also with the background of Europe on you?
When we live in Europe and we're coming back to the continent, we think we have it all. We're coming to fix
True.
Africa. And
True.
one of the mistakes that we make is that we think that we're the Robin Hood of Africa. We think that because we're doing this, it means no one else is doing it. And so we start tapping our shoulders and making our egos grow and thinking that, we're here to change Africa. Africa will change you. Africa will change you. So my biggest mind shift has been the fact that when I came, I thought that I was going to create an academy where I was going to mentor people. I was going to do this. And I tried that for 2 years and nothing worked until I had to surrender and say, okay, Africa, here I am, with all the challenges that I was going through, not having enough money, and meeting people who you don't understand the mentality, being sometimes too over trusting. And so people tend to abuse that. It happens everywhere. It's not just in Africa. So the biggest mind shift for me was when I decided to say, okay, Africa, what should I do? I started listening to myself, putting things out, meditating. I created affirmations, and that led me to realizing that what I want to do is writing. That's where the transformation will come in. That's when the greatest impact would be. That's where I can create a legacy. So the transformation is stop to listen to people or voices around me. Stop to listen to what the media and the politics say, to listening to me, listening to the voice in me, and growing from there to see what is it that I can do. Where is the energy? Where is the idea? Where is the vision? And where is the way? And I meditate every day now. I was not a very spiritual person, but the African philosophy of Ubuntu, when you get used to that, you try to understand it, you realize how powerfully spiritual it is. And so that has been my guiding light. And today, I don't have money. Books don't sell the way they should, but I am the most happiest person inside of me. I have a peace of mind. I can sleep. I don't have to justify myself anymore. I don't have to stand up to do things to please people. I don't need external validation. I know my worth. Even when there's no money on the table, I know my worth, and I can stand with my shoulders high and still say I'm a proud African woman, even without a penny in my pocket, because I finally realized who I am and the powers of who I am. And I know that if money is not here right now, it doesn't mean that it can't come in.
Yes.
The biggest people talk about poverty. They say there's poverty in Africa. I want us to understand that the happiest people in the world are still Africans. So you must ask yourself the question, why? Why are they say they're the poorest and the happiest? And we can talk long on that. So what I just want to say by that is that when you touch base with yourself, you are in balance with yourself. When you know who you are, when you're doubting, people can bump you here and bump you there and bump you there. But when you finally realize who you are home. You are home. And when you find yourself home inside of you, when you find a home inside of you, you can pass through any adversary. You can, what is not, when the things that you want are not yet there, they're not yet there. It doesn't mean that they can't come. And you realize that the biggest aspect of poverty is moral poverty. it is emotional poverty. And you don't have that in Africa. When I got here, I never used to greet people. They would just say, Miss Sisi, are you all right? You pass someone on the street, they don't say hello. Are you all right? And in Austria, you know, you need to, your next door neighbor, you don't even say hello to them. So those were some of the shifts that I needed to make. And I realized that, you know, you just have to touch base with yourself. You have to let things happen. You have to find a voice in you, and you have to realize that sometimes things may not go the way you plan, but it doesn't mean that they're not happening. Sometimes things may look like they're falling apart, but they're actually falling in place. You
In
just need to
place.
change the way you're looking at the
You
things
think.
for the things to
Yeah,
change. Okay, so
exactly.
that's what I have learned. And again today, despite the challenges that I still have, I will not, I don't have any regret, and I will not, you'll not see me in Europe. If you want me to come do something, I'll come do and I'll deliver and I'll come right back. And if I get tired of South Africa, I will go to Kenya, I'll go to Sao
Yes.
Tome, I'll go pick another African countries, but you'll not see my back in Europe or in America to stay anymore. Sorry.
And I think that's one thing that even right now, and you see me smiling from ear to ear. It's because right now we're running currently running a series where we're discussing the 7 stages of personal maturity and growth, where the seventh bits, which is one that not a lot of people really understand, is the level of transcendence. Hearing from you that you are fully, authentically living as you, not thinking about regrets, not thinking about what people say, not worrying about the situations, because you have already gotten so in tune with yourself, so in touch with your humanity, with your purpose, with the person that you want to be. And that is being living and operating in transcendence. And that's why I'm smiling from ear to ear, because it is really a beautiful state to be in when you do not have any doubts or thoughts or concerns whatsoever. And when you are living in your purpose also to help other people, to push other people, you have literally passed all the stages that, if I was to stay breaking them down, and listening to you speak has made me think, wow, Madam Beatrice is living in transcendence. And this is somewhere that we have all to attain. Lots of people are living in ownership, where now they think that that is the place where they need to be, and that's okay. But little do they know that's only the third stage of personal growth and maturity. There are four other stages, which is concern and compassion, where you're compassionate towards other people, where you are focusing on other people, which you've already passed, coming from the fact that you are operating with people, and you're helping people. You have the fifth stage, which is collaboration, where you're working with others, where you are focused on our whole Ubuntu idea, and this is what you've already passed. Then you have the sixth stage, which is completeness. You're at peace and unity with who you are. And then there's the transcendence. Now, this is where you're not only at peace, but you're living and operating at your full authentic self. You know, you can be in peace with yourself, but you're still not living authentically. You've accepted who you are, but you're still not living authentically. And until you transcend or you get to that level, then you're not fully living in your authentic self, not caring. And the beauty is that, even hearing from your story before, where you said, hey kids, I to be a good mother, I need to make certain steps. That is really living in transcendence, because somebody who is in completeness would probably think, let me not move because my kids, I need to take care. What would the world say about the type of mother that I am? What would these people think? Or if I, and so on and so forth. That is not living in transcendence. That is not living in your authentic self. But I really, really love and hearing you speak. I learned this recently, and these days when I listen to people, I'm just there analyzing, where you at, where are you at, and what level are you operating at. And I think this is such a beautiful thing to hear. And well, if Ali wants me to teach a master class on this, I will. but yes, it's really amazing. It's really, really amazing hearing you speak in such a level. Are there any closing remarks, Ma, in regard to what I just said, or anything at all, please?
I just want to thank you. Thank you for having me. Thank you for giving me the space. Thank you for
Mm,
the energy and the example that Awi is leading. Europe is a very tough place, and again, the space put many of us in competitivity against each other, and not a healthy competition. I have experienced not a healthy competition in Europe, and what Awi is doing is definitely another level. It's another level of
mm,
uh, of of organizing, of connecting, of sharing, and of growing collectively, individually and collectively. So each time that I get into an Awi space, I'm always energized. I'm always happy, and it feels like coming home. So I thank you for having me. Before we go, I just want to say you put on my description, founder of the Global to Mind Shift System. It's a concept that I developed out of the African philosophy of Ubuntu. It's a personal growth training concept that comes in 3 steps or 3 modules. Module 1 is I am. You get to know who you are. You get to discover who you are beyond your physical attributes, your accolade, and everything that you can see and count.
mhm,
It's really
mhm,
very deep. Level 2 is where you learn how to connect with other people who are as complex as you have
mhm,
discovered that you are in level 1. It's about building healthy relationships. And in level 3, it is I am because you are, which gives you 20 principles on how to manage mutually beneficial relationships. So you go beyond the level where first you learn about yourself, and then you learn how to connect with people, and then you learn how to manage your relationships so that they are mutually beneficial. And when you get to that level, you can do just anything. So that is the Global to Mind Shift System. It comes from that philosophy, and it gives you principles and gives you tools on how to. And one of them is what I call your relationship map. When you do your relationship map, you can be able to map the people around you to see what role it is that they're playing in your life. Because the simple explanation is that when you go to your cheerleader with a question that you should be taking to your vision bearer, then you realize that you will not have a good answer. And because you don't have the answer that you're expecting, you may be disappointed. And when you're disappointed, you quit that relationship, or you
mhm,
devalue the relationship, but you miss out on so much. But when you map the people around you and you realize who in which category, and some of them will be like, juxtapositioning, but you know where to go to when you're asking for what kind of support, assistance, or collaboration, because you already know the spaces that they are in. It's a very, very
mhm.
powerful tool when you do your relationship map. So that is that concept called the Global Mind Shift System.
Thank you very much, Ma. Now, if you want to get in touch with Madam, please follow her on her accounts, and also get to check out on the links that have been shared by African women in Europe. You'll definitely get to find her. And also, do not hesitate to send us a message if there's anything that you'd love to hear her speak on, or anything that you'd love to contact her with. She is very generous with knowledge, as you can hear. And even I have gotten to speak with her, and she's very, very generous with her knowledge. She's a great spirit. So please get in touch with her. Now, with that said, we would love to bid you farewell and thank you for this night. Now, it's been an amazing evening. It has been an amazing conversation. I've gotten to hear a lot, and I've just been smiling from year to year. Basically, every time you're talking, I'm just smiling. So that tells you a lot, and I'm very, very grateful. I look forward to getting to learn you more, and also getting to learn a lot of things from you, and getting to be part of the things that you do as well. And it's really an inspiration. There are a lot of things that we had discussed that we were going to discuss, but I think that the conversation that we've had is very, very important. And immediately you had told me about it, I was like, why did you tell me this before? Because this is very, very interesting. So thank you very much, Ba, and God bless you. Even as you venture further into your journey, it will succeed, and it will bear the fruits that you wish it to bear. After that many years, I know the feeling of fighting for your passion and going after your passion, even regardless of whether or not it's making you rich. But I really know how it feels to go after your passion and go after it without any regrets and making an impact in people's lives. I think that's one of the most important things to do. Um, but yeah, with that said, I would love to bid you farewell and thank you for the evening. I would love to wish all our watchers, gosh, ah, Jesus, who,
It's been a long
all our
day.
watchers,
It
yes,
happened.
all our watchers, a beautiful, beautiful evening, morning, afternoon, wherever you are. Please do not forget to follow us on our social media accounts at the African Women in Europe on Facebook, on Instagram, on Twitter, and also do not forget to visit us on our website, africanwomen.eu, and do not forget to follow us on our YouTube channel at Our Joy. And also, do not forget to follow me if you want to follow through on the Aoi Talks at Victoria Nkatha. And we're looking forward to being with you again on Sunday, every Sunday at 8:30 p.m. Central European Time. At that is 9:30 p.m. East African Time. And with that said, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are, and we'll see you next week. Bye.